Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Circle Direct podcast where we discuss all things health and wellness. On today's episode, we're going to go in the line of nutrition, laying emphasis on what we call the DASH diet. Now, DASH means Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension. The reason why we're having this discussion today is because we want to see another angle where we can use nutrition to tackle conditions such as hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, and other end-stage diseases. It has been discovered through extensive research that using the approach of nutrition, it can actually even work similarly to medications in reducing certain conditions in the body. So stay tuned for today's enlightening episode. First of all, before we go into the intricate details of the DASH diet, what DASH diet means is dietary approaches to stopping hypertension. So research has actually shown that just by changing your eating habits, by including items such as lean proteins, vegetables, fiber, low dairy items, or reducing your fats, or basically also ensuring that you reduce the kind of fats you use, it goes a long way in improving your cardiovascular health. Well, research has shown that when you have your diet that is rich in highly processed foods, you take a lot of salt, or even you indulge in foods that are fatty, especially saturated fats, this can actually increase the chances of developing high cholesterol level. Then also, when your cholesterol level is high, you can develop clots in the blood. So by changing the kind of food you eat, it goes a long way in improving your heart health. And also, this helps in even seeing the same similar effect as when you take medications, because that's another thing that the research has shown. When this DASH diet is implemented into your diet regimen, the amount of medications you take in terms of if you have hypertension, it drastically reduces. Also, there are things that we should have included in our diet, which DASH diet actually brings into play. Things like your calcium, magnesium, potassium, which is very good for your cardiovascular health. Once you incorporate the DASH diet, it actually also helps to improve on your heart health, because these nutrients and vitamins, they actually help to promote a very sound heart. We're going to now discuss the items that are in the DASH diet that actually helps you live a better life. Now, you might be wondering that what is this DASH diet that we keep talking about? So DASH diet actually composes of some certain food classes that has been shown to improve on your overall wellness. So the first thing we're going to discuss on this DASH diet is the inclusion of what we call fruits and vegetables. Now, we all know that our fruits and vegetables are very nutrient dense. They include the vitamins and the minerals your body needs for proper metabolism. Vitamins are normally found in your fruits like your papaya, your pawpaw, your tomatoes, your leafy greens, whether it's your cabbages, your broccoli, your kale, your spinach. These are the things that are very nutrient dense, so you should include them in your diet. Now, the second thing we're going to discuss is the inclusion of whole grains. Most of the time, especially for people that are in developed countries, they take a lot of refined flour, and refined flours that you find in your pastries, you find them in your bread, your pasta. So now we want to ensure that even though you will still include carbohydrates, you go for what we term whole grains. Now, why are we saying whole grains? Whole grains still have the fiber in the carbohydrates. And it has been shown by research that fiber actually helps to, first of all, improve on digestion, and also it actually helps to reduce the amount of cholesterol that you have. So you including your whole grains, it helps to improve on your cholesterol level, which will also at the end of the day improve on your blood pressure. Now, the third thing we're going to talk about is your lean proteins. Your DASH diet, you actually also have to improve. You have to add your proteins, but instead of going for proteins that are high in fat, you go for the lean ones. Now, we all have our lean meats that you can get in your butchery, or you can go for chicken and turkey. Now, if you're going to include these items in your diet, ensure that you remove the skin, because that is the place where the animal fats are stored. Then, apart from going for lean proteins from animal source, it's also good to include your plant-based proteins like your beans, your lentils, and also include nuts, healthy nuts, by the way. We are going to actually now talk about the fourth class you must include, and that is your low fatty dairy products. So you might be someone that likes to take beverages. So instead of taking things that are high in fat, it's good to go for the ones that are low in fat, like your skimmed milk, or even you might actually include things like yogurt in your diet. Yogurt, which also has a low fatty content, is also rich in what we call probiotics, and probiotics also help in improving on digestion. Then the other aspect we must talk about in your DASH diet is the inclusion of sodium. A lot of us that eat out, we might not be able to measure the amount of salt we take every day. And if you're hypertensive, definitely you have to measure the amount of salt you take. So for the DASH diet, you must not exceed a teaspoon of salt per day, and that is for the whole meal you're going to have in a day. And if you're someone that you're even still trying to reduce your amount of salt, reduce it to at least, if you have a measuring scale, 1,500 milligrams of salt per day. Now, the first benefit of including a DASH diet in your mealtime is the lowering of your blood pressure. We all know that one of the factors that damages your heart is when your blood pressure is high. And of course, when your blood pressure is high, it can also lead to stroke. So if you include the DASH diet, your blood pressure will go down. In fact, it has been shown by research that it goes down by 11 digits. That is the systolic. So which is also equivalent to the medications that you take. Then the second one is improving on your cardiovascular function. When your blood pressure is lower, your heart will not need to be overwhelmed in pumping out blood. So that means that you will not have cases of a large heart, or even in the worst case, you could have, like we said earlier, stroke. The other aspect of when you include the DASH diet is putting fiber in your diet. Now, when you put fiber in your diet, it improves on your bowel movements, your digestive process improves drastically. Then you will not have a spike in your blood sugar. Your blood sugar is properly normal. And we all know that when you are diabetic, this is a case where it can also lead to kidney issues. So you know that your kidney will function properly, your sugar will be normal, your blood sugar will be normal. Then another one is overall wellness. You will be able to, your heart will function well. You'll not be having certain ailments. You'll not have issues with your cardiovascular health. Then of course you can even reduce your weight size also, because once you are on a DASH diet, you have removed things like refined flour from your meal. You've reduced on your intake of trans fats, which are things that when you ingest on, it increases your chances of becoming obese. So when you plan your DASH diet properly, not only will your cardiovascular function improve, but even your general wellness, because having a DASH diet also includes minerals, vitamins that would help to promote wellness. So now you want to start the DASH diet. What are the things that you need to put into place to ensure that it goes smoothly? The first thing is planning ahead. If you're going to start this kind of diet, you can't just start it on the whim. You have to ensure that you have all basically your meals, you have to prepare them at home. So definitely you have to go shopping, you have to plan ahead. Definitely you're going to stop eating out. So your meals, you plan them at home, you've cooked them, you refrigerate them. So every time you want to have a meal, there's something that you're going to have. So you don't end up changing the plan. Then the second thing is that you're going to have to cook at home. The benefit of having a DASH diet is knowing how to control what is included in your diet. If you eat out, you don't know the kind of ingredients they use, the kind of salt, the amount of salt they put in the food. So cooking at home is very, very essential. Then you also have to watch your portions. One of the things that we've discovered is that a lot of times when people are on this DASH diet, they might not know that, okay, the kind of protein they are eating, they have to reduce it. Sometimes people, when they eat out, they might say, okay, they want more of protein than the carbohydrate. But when you're now on this DASH diet, you have to limit the portions. You take more of the vegetables and the lean protein than even the whole grains. And of course, the amount of oil you're going to also add to your meal, you have to also measure it properly. Then the other one is you have to reduce your salt. The salt that you're going to add into your meal, it has to be reduced drastically. Then if by chance you're someone that you don't want to even take salt anymore, you can start using natural spices. There are a lot of spices that are in the market that you can use that would add flavor to your meal. Then you must reduce the amount of seasoning, or even if if preferably you'd remove it from your diet, because most seasonings already have added salt to them. So that wraps it up on our discussion on DASH diet. Now, DASH diet is not only for those that are hypertensive. Even if you are just looking for a type of meal plan that would improve on your overall wellness and health, DASH diet is something that you should implement. Why? Because when you start using DASH diet, or when you start implementing DASH diet on your nutritional plan, you know that your chances of developing diabetes is reduced, having even cancer, because cancer has been related to the ingestion of highly refined and processed meals. So you are reducing your chances of developing cancer later in life, or even having issues with your kidney and your cardiovascular health. DASH diet also ensures that issues of highly or elevated cholesterol level is reduced drastically. So it's something that you should start to implement, and you also have to look around you to see the kind of resources that you can use to implement this DASH diet. DASH diet is something that you can easily do, especially when you are in an environment that you can get fresh produce. You don't want to start a diet whereby to get the source of materials that you use, it will be out of reach for you. So you have to start including, especially your fruits and vegetables. It's very, very key. Like we said again, your lean proteins. If you're someone that likes to eat the intestines, the intestines are very, very fatty. You have to eliminate that. Go for things that are rich in omega-3, like your fish. Then of course, like we said earlier, your white meat, chicken, and even if you have the option, go for your local chicken instead of going for the ones that have been frozen. Then, like we said again, sodium, you have to reduce your sodium. You do more of natural seasoning. If you want to season your food, go for spices that are naturally occurring. Then one of the things I always say is read your labels. A lot of time, the seasonings that we even have in the market, sometimes they have been bulked up with other things, which you might not know until you read the label. So we've come to the end of today's episode of Secondary Podcast. Like we always say, any other comments any other topic that you want us to cover, you can just drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to our other social media channels. Then, of course, like and share with your friends and family. And until I see you next time, have a great day.